I wanted to sort of capture that deeper love. That's not just romantic. I think it can be romantic, but there's this sense in the song that it's that cemented sort of important love that you find in a friendship with your best friend or a relationship with your parent. It's this deeper, less fragile love than romantic love. Writing Till Forever Falls Apart was a reminder to me of what I have. It was a reminder of the friendship I had in Phineas and the relationship I have with my mom, you know, these really special people to me that is in that such cemented love. I wrote the song the day before we were ordered to go into lockdown. I wrote it originally with my friend Leroy Clampett, who's the executive producer on my album. We sat on the floor, played these chords, and we could definitely feel the anxiety of the world about to sort of hit. And then Phineas came onto the song a couple months later. We sent the song to him, and he related to it a lot. And I think we both felt it was kind of our song. Even though we didn't initially write it together, it felt like it was ours. And he wrote his second verse, and it's so gorgeous. We didn't have the full scope of what was going to happen in the world. We just sort of were like, we felt this anxiety. And then, you know, sure enough, an entire year later, we're still, you know, in the middle of this craziness. Out on our own, dreaming in a world that we both know is out of our control. But if shit hits the fan, we're not alone. Those first lyrics are just painting this picture like, I know that I have zero control over the world and what's happening. And I have little to no control over my own life. I have little to no control over my own emotions. I'm definitely a control freak, and I pretend sometimes that I have this faux amount of control that I totally don't have. There's this reality that we don't really get to control any of it. And that's so scary to me. But when you know you have someone in your corner, it's not so scary. It should be when shit hits the fan, you're not alone. I should have rewrote it, not if shit hits the fan. It's totally a when. Life is so uncertain and so short. Like, if anything, you know, this past year has taught us it's shit's gonna hit the fan. So buckle up and hug the ones you love. 'Cause you've got me and you know that I've got you, and I know. Especially knowing we were about to go into lockdown and we were about to be ordered to go into lockdown, there was a sense of, we have no idea what's about to happen. But if I've got you, it's going to be okay. I think it's important to remind ourselves of those people that are in our corner so that it's not so overwhelming and scary. With Phineas, I knew from the get, he had my back and I had his. And there was this level of like trust and honesty and realness. I was going through a divorce when I met him. There was no playing around, no games out the gate. There was so much turmoil happening in my life that there was no room to not be honest or vulnerable. If I was going to welcome a new friend in my life, they needed to know what they were going to get themselves into. And I'm not that way with everyone. I think that's why he is so special. Sometimes you just know, like with someone, that you're like, oh, you get it. And no matter what, I've got you and you've got me. If the tide takes California, I'm so glad I got to hold you. I think we joke about the world and the tide taking California and California just sort of floating off into the sea. And that image to me was so apocalyptic and dramatic to me that I just really wanted to have the listener go, if this insane thing happens, you've got this person and you can appreciate this time you had with them for a little while. And if the sky falls from heaven above, oh, I know I had the best time falling into love. I think of like meteors falling from the sky when I wrote that lyric. I was like imagining meteors coming down and the dinosaurs like running. I was like, man, if this all falls on the top of our heads, I've lived this beautiful life with beautiful people. It reminds you how lucky you are. I think the songs that kind of jolt you into reminding yourself how lucky you are some of the best songs. We've been living on a fault line. And for a while you were all mine. I love this chorus because it just keeps hitting you line after line after line of like, this all can fall apart in a minute. And I'm so grateful I had you. And that we've been living on a fault line. The San Andreas goes through California in particular. I'm born and raised on the fault line. My whole life is at risk the whole time. That idea of like, we're actually living on the San Andreas fault line. And then this metaphorical life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. We are always living on a fault line. I feel like my whole life I was waiting for the next shoe to drop. There was something that was going to come that was going to knock me off my feet again. I spend a lifetime giving you my heart. I swear that I'll be yours forever till forever falls apart. I just thought it was such a beautiful representation, like, of giving someone your heart. I think it pertains to sort of friendship love as well. Like Finneas has a piece of my heart. Like he's got it forever. I think that line is where people are like, is this romantic? And I think it absolutely can be. I'll give you my heart forever until that's no longer an option because I'm not here anymore or you're not here anymore. Till forever falls apart. We never had it from the start. Till death do us part. We promise forever. We promise our love to someone and that we'll always be there. That lyric kind of sobers you up in the song. It's like, no. We didn't really ever have forever to begin with, till death do us part. I think of my best friend from childhood. We've been best friends since we were 7. I don't care how many times we argue or disagree. It's till death do us part. And I was married, but till death do us part is actually accurate with some of these friendships. It's till death do us part with Finneas, you know? And I don't have to marry him for that to be true, which is funny. When Finneas wrote, I guess there's nothing more romantic than dying with your friends, I was like, wow. This is why you ask your genius friend who you love to, pop into your song. I knew he was going to get it, and I knew he was going to honor the song the way it sort of needed to be honored. Every time he does anything, I am floored.